What's going on, guys? I've been looking for a 1 to 6x scope for a really long time. I've been researching every different company: Vortex, Primary Arms, Night Force, Leopold, all those companies, looking for a 1 to 4 or 1 to 6. I really wanted to get the most features and the most quality for the amount of money I was paying. So I looked at the Burris XTR2, really liked how bright it was, didn't really like the price tag. Apparently their glass is really good and a lot of people are shooting those nowadays. Really nice scopes. I wouldn't, if anybody had one of those, I'd probably be a little bit jealous. Looked at the Strike Eagle by Vortex. A lot of people are saying that the glass is pretty good, not the best. For me, when I looked through it at one of the shops I was at, the reticle wasn't as bright as I wanted it to be, and the actual reticle, the circle dot, was a little bit too big. It was a little bit too busy for me. For close up, that'd be really nice, but I mean, if I'm pushing 2, 3, 4 magnification, looking at something like 200 yards away, I really want it to be a little bit more or less busy so I can really focus in on that center dot. But anywho, I came across the Steiner P4XI. Apparently that's a pretty new scope out on the market. I had no idea, never even heard about it. Nobody has a review on this online, and I've been looking around trying to see if anybody has any experience with this scope. So I commented on Superset California's video, and one of the guys that comments and replies and is in a couple of his videos said that he had shot this exact scope the day I was commenting, and he said that the glass was comparable to the HD7. The reticle was actually brighter. The dot in the center was actually brighter than the HD7. The only thing I'm giving up really is the 6 power and the sensitive eye box, but that's really about it. So I got the P4XI by Steiner, which is weird because I usually research the crap out of things before I get them. They are capped turrets, and they are a little bit mushy, and it's a little harder to see exactly which number you're at because this arrow is so far down, and it's a little bit mushy. There's a little bit of movement. They aren't as audible as really high-end scopes, but they are tactile. You can definitely tell you're turning. You can tell how many you're turning, and it'll work. For a 5.56 gun, you're going to set your zero and you're going to put the caps on it and never touch them again, pretty much. So that's not a problem for me. This thing is 9.7 inches long. It's not the longest scope. It's not the shortest scope. That's a 1 to 4 or 1 to 6. But since it is a 1 to 4, it's a little bit shorter than the standard 1 to 6s. I think the Burris XTR is about 10.5, 10.8 inches long. This one's 9.75. The power adjustment for magnification is really stiff. You would not be doing this quickly without a scope lever, which I intend on getting for this scope. It does have a focus adjuster on the back, like most standard scopes out there. 30mm tube, super nice scope. And going back to the reticle, when I say that this thing is bright, here it is on the highest setting, right there. This thing looks like a 4 MOA dot. That's how big this thing is. But the glass is very clear, even around the edges. This thing has great glass quality. I mean, it's crystal clear all the way around. So, yeah. Very nice scope. When you pick it up, you definitely know that this is a piece of quality in your hands. That's not their military version, but I'm suspecting that this thing can handle pretty much what their military ones can handle. This thing feels like, I feel like they just had their military tube, put some really good glass in it, and then made a bright reticle, and literally everything else don't really need that good of that specific and meticulous amount of quality put in there, like the turrets. But I think that this thing is the best scope you can get for the money. I know a lot of people probably have their own scope that they think is the best. I agree. I mean, I understand that you have your own personal preference, but this thing's glass is so clear, and the reticle is so bright that 0 to 400 yards, I don't really think I'll have a problem with anything. But yeah, guys, that's the Steiner P4XI. First freaking review out there of it. I mean, I probably am not, but I haven't seen one yet, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys have the money for one of these, I would definitely recommend getting one of these. Super nice. Haven't shot it yet, but so far, this thing is living up to Steiner's reputation. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.